What is academic writing? In this video, we're going to whip through 7 distinguishing factors of academic writing. Bear these in mind whilst you're doing your assignments to help keep you on the right track. It has a purpose. The purpose of academic writing is usually to present an argument. You're trying to persuade your reader that your position is valid and credible. So what do we mean by position? Imagine you've been given the following essay title. Evaluate the ethical implications of companies outsourcing labour to low-cost countries. You might then argue your response from one of the following possible positions. Outsourcing is unethical due to labour exploitation and job loss in home countries, or outsourcing can be ethical when it benefits both the country and the workers in the host country. And you might instinctively have a position in mind from what you've learnt so far in your studies. However, to make your argument robust and credible, you must use evidence from academic sources to underpin it, and we'll come back to evidence and referencing shortly. It is for an academic audience. Keep in mind that you're writing this for your tutor, so pitch it at the right level and avoid being too basic. You can assume that your tutor has some knowledge and understanding of the topic, and you're using your assignment to build on that. It is formal. You'll be expected to use an academic tone in your writing, so this means no slang, no colloquialisms or contractions. And contractions are where we shorten words like could not into couldn't or do not into don't. You'll also mostly be writing in the third person, which means not using words like I or we. So instead of writing, I think this study argues, you would write, this study argues. Or I think this is important, you might write, the evidence suggests this is important. The exception to this is if you've been asked to do some reflective writing, in which case the use of I and we can be appropriate. Check with your tutor if you're at all unsure. It is evidence with research. One of the key differences between academic writing and other types of writing is that academic writing is always supported by evidence. You can have opinions in your academic writing, but you need to support them with evidence from credible sources. And this is because you need to show your audience that you have done your research and that your conclusions are based on sound evidence. Not all sources are equal. Just because something is on a website or written down doesn't mean it's reliable. In academic writing, you need to be careful to use sources that are credible and trustworthy. Some of the most reliable academic evidence comes from peer-reviewed journals. Peer-reviewed journals are published by academic institutions, and each article is reviewed by experts in the field before it is published. This means that the research has been scrutinised by other experts, and it's more likely to be reliable. Academic books are another great source, and so are databases, which contain a whole host of different types of information. Which databases you use or which journals you reference will be dependent on your subject specialism. These can be found through the library resources here at Teesside University, and with the exception of some of the databases, which you might need to access directly, can be searched for using our library search engine Discovery. It contains citations and references. When you've gathered all your evidence, you need to cite it in your assignment to avoid accidental plagiarism, and this means telling the reader where they can find the original source of the information. Never try to pass off anyone else's work as your own. It is classed as plagiarism and can have very serious consequences, such as being asked to leave your course. In academic writing, you must follow certain conventions for acknowledging the source of your evidence. This is called a referencing style. At Teesside University, most courses use Harvard referencing, but check with your tutor to be sure. Harvard referencing is a set of rules you need to follow when you cite evidence in your assignments. We have a great web resource called Cite Them Right, which can show you how to use Harvard referencing for any type of evidence source. It is critical and balanced. Critical writing is essential for academic success. It's not enough to just present information. You need to think critically about your sources, question their assumptions and implications, and explore their limitations and counter-arguments. Only then can you present a well-balanced conclusion. When you're writing, think about how the evidence you're using fits into your position or argument. What does this add to my argument? Critical writing gives you the chance to use the evidence to show your own reasoning and ideas. This is your chance to show how your evidence supports a logical and coherent argument. Keep asking yourself, am I offering more than just a summary of information? If the answer is no, then your writing is descriptive and not critical. Finally, there are conventions on how academic writing is structured. Much of academic writing follows the essay format, which is typically structured as an introduction, body paragraphs, and a conclusion. And this basically means you tell people what you're going to say, you say it, and then you tell people what you have said. You might be asked to add other elements to your essay or follow a different structure, such as a business report format. And if this is the case, it will be clearly laid out in your assignment brief. If you're in any doubt, be sure to check with your tutor. This is just a quick introduction, but you can get more help from Teesside University's Succeed at Tees Library Workshop series. We cover topics like critical writing and referencing in depth. We also offer additional support with academic writing through our Learning Hub. You can find more information on our library webpage.